Hey everybody, Matt here from Matt's Movies, Music and More, welcoming you to this week's movie review episode. The film I'm talking about today happens to be the directorial debut of the director in question. So the film I've chosen to talk about is the 1996 thriller Hard 8, which is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, and it stars Phillip Baker Hall, John C. Reilly, Gwyneth Paltrow and Samuel L. Jackson. The movie is about Sydney, who's played by Phillip Baker Hall, who is a gambler in his 60s, and when he's out and about near Vegas, he's on the road to Vegas, and he meets this young man named John, who's sitting outside a diner, and he offers him a cigarette and offers to buy him a cup of coffee. So John accepts. John's played by John C. Reilly, and he asks him questions about why is John here and stuff, and John's obviously thinking that maybe Sydney's into him, and he's like, well, I'm not gay, and stuff like that. So you find that out, but you find out that John has lost his money gambling in Vegas because he's trying to raise $6,000 to pay for his mother's funeral. So Sydney decides to drive John to Vegas and sort of teaches him how to try and win in gambling. And he loans him some money and stuff like that, and teaches him scams about how to sort of blow the money, but also to get like free room and dinner and, you know, tickets to go and see things. So the thing is that Sydney's only solved one problem. 2 years later, what happens is you find out that John has become Sydney's protege. So he's now a very successful gambler, and he's made enough money to pay for his mother's funeral. But whilst he's at the casinos and stuff, John falls in love with a waitress called Clementine, who's played by Gwyneth Paltrow. And you find out that Clementine is not all that she seems to be, because she's kind of a prostitute as well, because she's obviously trying to earn extra money and stuff like that. And as the movie goes on, you find out that John marries Clementine, you know, kind of a shotgun kind of wedding. And John introduces Sydney to a guy called Jimmy, who's played by Samuel L. Jackson. And straight away, Sydney instantly dislikes him and doesn't trust him at all. And so really the movie has a lot of twists here and there. I don't want to spoil any more of the movie, because I kind of think the less you know about it, like with many of these movies I talk about, the better for you. But what did I think of the movie? I thought it was very well made. It's a movie that kind of had a relatively big budget, didn't make any money. And it's a shame, because it's got good actors in this film. Phillip Baker Hall's great as Sydney, as are the rest of the cast. John C. Reilly, fantastic actor. He's now more famous for doing comedic roles over the last 20 years, but there was a time in the 1990s when he would play these dramatic roles, and he's very good in this. Samuel Jackson, his role is very minimal, as is Gwyneth Paltrow's, but as an ensemble cast and the way it's shot, it's very well made, and you can clearly see why Paul Thomas Anderson became a huge director in Hollywood. The movie that he would make literally a couple of years later after Hard 8 was Boogie Nights, which made him a household name, and obviously he'd go on to do things like Magnolia and Then There Will Be Blood, to name a few of his movies. But yeah, I'm glad I've seen Hard 8. It's a film I'd wanted to see a number of years, and I watched it and I was like, yeah, this is a pretty good film. So yeah. What did you guys think of Hard 8? Have you guys seen it? Is it something that you fancy checking out with the actors involved? Don't forget to check out our other videos on the YouTube channel here, not just the solo videos. We've also got What Did You Think, which I do with a special guest. We've got At the Movies with Andrew. We've got other shows potentially coming up in the future. And if you check out the social media posts on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, you'll see on there that I do regular posts telling you about upcoming videos that are potentially going to come up on here. So don't forget to check them out. So thanks very much, everybody, and all the very best to you. Bye-bye.